Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing my October book haul. This book haul is kind of insane because I bought a couple of books at the beginning of the month because they were on sale at Barnes & Noble, and then at the end of the month there was a local library book sale and I kind of went insane at the book sales, so let's just get started because I have a lot to go through. Earlier this month I did a review on the book The Murder of the Century. That was actually a book that I bought earlier in the month, and Barnes & Noble was having a deal on their website where they had like a handful of books, and if you bought 3 you only paid for 2. So basically you got 1 free. So I ended up buying 3 books when I purchased that one. The other 2 that I bought were Death in the City of Light by David King. And if you can see at the top it says The Serial Killer of Nazi-Occupied Paris. I didn't know anything about this book until I saw it on the Barnes & Noble website, and it looked really interesting and I love stories about serial killers, so I ended up picking up this one. The other one I picked up is In the Garden of Beasts by Erik Larsen. This is a book I have been looking forward to reading. I read Devil in the White City and I really love that book a lot, and that one's about a serial killer too. But this one's just about Nazi Germany. Basically, I've just been waiting for this book to sort of either go on sale or be a little bit cheaper than full price. So when I saw that this was part of the deal, I ended up picking up this one too. Another book that I purchased this month was The Last Dragonslayer by Jasper Fforde. I just think this book sounds so interesting, and I didn't know Jasper Fforde did young adult novels, so I wanted to pick this up. And also this cover and also the spine is really cool. I don't know how much you can see of like the shine and the sheen right here, and then like the dragon's tail wraps around, so even the spine looks really cool and has little stars on it. This week I went to Barnes & Noble because John Green recently released a box set. It's all 4 of his books in hardcover form, and Looking for Alaska and The Fault in Our Stars are both signed. Now I already owned 3 of his books, Paper Towns, Abundance of Kathryn's, and The Fault in Our Stars, and I had The Fault in Our Stars autographed because it was a pre-order, and I got Paper Towns autographed and personalized because when I saw him earlier this year. So I didn't want to buy the whole box set because I felt like that would be kind of a waste. Later on he talked about how there were actually going to be copies of the new Looking for Alaska in Barnes & Nobles around the country, so I figured I would just get that. So I ended up picking up Looking for Alaska, so it has the new cover without the candle on the bottom, and it is signed on the inside right here. So now 3 out of my 4 books have a J scribble on it. And then also a really cool touch that they added to these new books is that his signature is actually like embossed or imprinted onto the actual hardcover part of the book, which I think is really cool. I think they did that on all of the new books. If you got the box set, if you have a box set, check it out, because I've been seeing people talking about the box set and I don't think they realize that's on there. So if you have a box set, make sure you look for that. Because I have no self-control, when I was getting Looking for Alaska, I stopped by the 3 for 2 table and I ended up getting 3 books. I got Mudbound by Hilary Jordan. I had never heard of this book before, but it has pretty good reviews, and it has to do with like race in the early 1900s. I think it starts in like the World War II era and goes forward through time, but it's basically about like a black guy and a white guy, I think, who are friends, and it's not looked well upon, and it takes place in the South and everything like that. So I really like stories about like race relations, especially in like earlier American times. The next book I got was Gillian Flynn's Sharp Objects. They had both of her paperbacks out in the table, but I decided not to get both of them right now because I wanted to read one, and then I was like, if I want it later I can just go and get it later. And then the other book that I got was The Snowman by Jo Nesbo. I don't know how to say his name. I think he's Norwegian. He's part of this new trend of like European crime novelists who are sort of making their way over to America now because, you know, Stieg Larsson was such a big success, so they're printing a bunch in America now, and so I've heard really good things about this one. They had another one of his, I think it was called The Leopard, but I ended up picking up this one because it was shorter, and so I was like, if I like this one I'll pick up his other one the same way I did with the other ones. I actually almost picked up like both Gillian Flynn's and both of these, and then just picked up like another book off the table, but then I realized I would be getting 7 books and that's way too much to get at one time. And then another book I got this month was Girl of Nightmares by Kendare Blake. I did the review of Anna Dressed in Blood earlier this month. I actually got this one for free. There's this website called Arc Cycling. I'll leave a link to it down in the description box. People who do book reviews and receive like arcs for free when they don't want them anymore, they'll tell this girl, and then every weekend, I think she does it on Sundays, she'll basically just like put up the list, and then the first person to email her about the book on the list will get the copy of it. I emailed her that I wanted Girl Nightmares, and I was the first person to do it, so I won it. So I gave her my mailing address, and then she gave my mailing address to the book reviewer who had this book. The only thing about this website is I think you have to be a book reviewer in order to qualify, and YouTube does count because I asked her, and she said, you know, doing book reviews on YouTube was just fine as well. She has really great arcs every week. You're not allowed to enter every week or try for books every week. I think you have to wait 2 weeks between each book. All you have to do is like stalk her on Twitter, and then she'll say like when she's putting up the list, and then as soon as the list goes up, like I already had the email ready to go with like her email address and like the thing you're supposed to have in the title, and then I was just waiting to see which ones popped up, and I just like threw it in the title and sent it as fast as I possibly could. So it's definitely one of those things where like you need to be on the ball in order to get these because they go quick, but it is so worth it because she has really great arcs every week. And also, if you're a book reviewer and you have arcs that you want to get rid of, you definitely should contact her because it's a really easy way to just get rid of your arcs. And my final stack of books. So I went to my local library. They were having a library book sale. They had hardcovers for $1, oversized paperbacks for $1, and mass market paperbacks for 50 cents. I found so many books that are like brand new or like relatively new books that were on sale for like $1, and I kind of went insane. So we're just gonna get started. First up, I got 3 Agatha Christie novels. The first one I got is Murder is Easy, and it says also published as Easy to Kill. The next one is And Then They Were None, which I've already read, but I read this in like high school and I didn't own a copy of it, so I picked this one up. And then the last one is A Murder is Announced. These were the only Agatha Christie novels I could see there, so I just picked these 3 up. Next up were oversized paperbacks. These are all $1, and these are all books that I had on my like Amazon wish list. So these aren't just random books that I found. These are all books that I've heard of and have been wanting, and I found them all there. That's kind of why I was so excited about this. First is Tana French's The Likeness. I've heard a lot about her. She's a crime novelist, and I've heard that her books are really good. This is actually the second book. Like her first one I think is called In the Woods, and I think all the characters are the same, but I have to look it up and see if I have to read In the Woods first before reading this one. If you've read her books, please let me know. Next is The Stranger by Albert Camus. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right. This is a French book that was translated into English, and I've heard really, really good things about this book. The next book that I got is The Help by Kathryn Stockett. Pretty sure everyone's heard about this book. It was made into a movie. I actually have the movie cover version of this book, which I'm never really excited about, but that's okay because it only cost me $1. This is a book that I've never read, and everyone's always really shocked when I say I've never read this book. I originally didn't want to read it because I heard mixed things about it, and then some of my friends read it and they're like, oh, you should just read it and see. And by that time, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait for it to go in like the bargain section of a used bookstore because I knew this was gonna be one of those books that like everyone bought, and then in a couple years they were just gonna sell it. And so I found it at a library book sale for $1, so I figured I might as well just pick it up now. Next book I got is Salvage the Bones by Jessamine Ward. This is a National Book Award winner, if you couldn't tell from the little sticker at the top corner. And I had only heard about this book maybe like a year or 2 ago, probably because it was published last year. So this is a pretty new book. I'm really surprised that someone bought this and sold it. I suppose they bought it and they didn't like it, so they decided to get rid of it or something. Next book that I got is Origin by Jessica Khoury. If you can see, this isn't actually an ARC copy of this book. I've heard good things about this book. It just came out like last month or something like that, and I was really surprised to see this book within the mix, so I like snatched that up right away. And now we have all of my hardcovers. The first one I got is Leopard's Going Bovine. I haven't read anything by Leopard, but I keep hearing everyone talk about her, especially now that Diviners is out, and so I've been wanting to read one of her books. Every time I would go to Barnes & Noble, I would see, you know, Going Bovine and Beauty Queens there, and also her Emma Doyle, I believe, series. I just didn't want to buy them there. I think it's because I'd never read any of her books before and I didn't know what to expect out of them. So I was like, you know, I'm just gonna wait. Maybe I can find them on sale somewhere. So when I saw Going Bovine, I was like, yes! And I just grabbed it. The next book that I got is The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker. This is one of those books that I kind of wanted to read because of the cover. Like, this is really cool. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like holes in the cover. You can see, which brings out part of the colors. And then the cover itself is really cool. It has the silhouette on the front. I don't know that much about this book. It's one of those that's just been getting a lot of really positive buzz lately, so I wanted to read it. And also I just think the cover is really pretty. So even if I don't like it, and also the spine's really pretty, so even if I don't like it, I feel like it's just one of those books that I'll like to have on my bookshelves because it looks nice. The next book is Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler. Yeah, Handler. This book is really heavy. Like, there's no way to convey this over video. But this book is way heavier than any other book that I have in this pile. This is just a really beautiful cover, and there's really beautiful illustrations on the inside of the book as well. So I'm really excited to read this book. A lot of booktubers have been reviewing this one recently, and they've all been pretty positive. The next book that I got is Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. I think the first person I saw do a review on this was Ariel over at Books Unbound, and she gave it a really positive review. I wasn't in any rush to pick it up, but then when I saw it there, I was like, holy cow, what is this book doing here? And I, like, you know, snatched it up. Like I said, I've been doing for all of these books. And the final book in this collection is Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl. I don't know who the person is that donated this to the local library, but do they realize that this book just came out and you could sell it to a used bookstore for like at least like $5–10 probably, or you could at least sell it on like eBay or Amazon, because this is still selling for like a good $20-some at like Barnes & Noble. So to the amazing person who donated this, thank you. And I did pick up one more book when I was at the library book sale. I saw The Fault in Our Stars by John Green there, and so I kind of was like, what? John Green? I feel like John Green's one of those young adult novelists that's never at used bookstores or anything like that, because people actually hold on to his books when they buy them for obvious reasons. I've been kind of on the search for my friend. She has only read Paper Towns, I think, but she really likes John Green. I've been kind of on the search for this, so when I saw this one, I like grabbed it and I texted her and I was like, I found The Fault in Our Stars for $1 and buying it for you. So I'll be giving this one to her. I have my own copy. So yeah, that is my giant book haul for the month of October. I'm basically done buying books for the rest of this year. Usually I do this where after like October I'll stop buying books because my birthday's in November and then Christmas is obviously in December, and so I have an Amazon wish list that I give to my family and friends if they want to buy me books, but usually I don't exchange presents with my friends. I'll give it to my sisters and just be like, buy whatever books are on this list. So I usually just stop buying books in general, so that way I don't end up buying a book that they possibly bought for me. And also I just got like 20 books this month, so I think I'm good for a while. I hope you guys enjoyed my giant book haul. If you've read any of these books, please let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed them or not. If you want me to review any of these books, please leave a comment down below, because I will make sure to make that a priority. I'm kind of just like picking up books as I feel like it. So if you ever see any of my book hauls and you want one of these books reviewed, please let me know and I will happily do that. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching. And because I have no self-control, when I was getting The Fault in Our Stars, not The Fault in Our Stars, the next book I got was Gillian Leopard. Please let me know and I will happily do that. Oh, burp. First one is Tana French's The Likeness. Whoa. And then the third book that I got was The Snowman by, oh jeez. A lot of bloopers in this one.